Silva and I am a nursing student from Gwynedd Mercy University. Today I will be interviewing Mary Claire King, a very well-known and respected geneticist. Thank you for joining us today, Mary.
Thank you. I appreciate being here today.
My first question is, how was your childhood growing up?
I was born on February 27, 1946, in Chicago. When I was born, my dad was almost 60 years old. Growing up, I watched him become ill because of the 1918 influenza epidemic. He had late-onset effects, and by the time I was 6, he was always home with my brother and me. My parents both had little formal education. However, my dad and I watched baseball together, and we would figure out batting averages and how to bring them up. He said I would have to know this when I grew up, and we did a lot of complex before I went to school. He encouraged me with these complex problems, and I grew to love math. In high school, I had 2 female math teachers that inspired me to go to college and pursue math. They were my role models and the first women in science I've ever encountered. However, once I got to college and took a genetics course, I transferred right away because I loved it with all my heart.
Did you face any obstacles in your childhood? What inspired you to pursue a career in science?
One of the obstacles I faced in my childhood was my childhood friend dying. When I was in high school, my friend died of breast cancer. It was heartbreaking, and I watched how the cruel disease took her. She inspired me to pursue a career in science and genetics. She inspired me to research cancer because I did not want anyone else to experience the same tragedy I did. As I said before too, my father and my math teachers have also inspired me to pursue a career in STEM.
I am sorry to hear about your friend. She was a true inspiration to you and has helped you push through so many genetic boundaries. What was your educational background before your nomination of the Nobel Prize?
I graduated from Carleton College with a mathematics degree. I then went to receive my doctorate degree in genetics at the University of California, Berkeley. During my time at Berkeley, I worked with Ralph Nader as a biologist on the California Project. This project investigated who California belongs to and what is happening to the land. After this project was published, I got offered a job in Washington, D.C. with Alan Wilson, where I was encouraged not to drop out of graduate school because I would never get anywhere with a bachelor's degree. I was debating on dropping out because of the Vietnam War. I was passionate about social justice and genetics. I decided then not to quit and take the offer in D.C., where we discovered that humans and chimpanzees have 99% of the same coding. Then I earned my postdoctoral studies at the University of California, San Francisco. After graduating, I decided my mission was to see if breast cancer could be inherited genetically and if a specific mutation caused this.
Wow. That's crazy that we have the same coding as chimpanzees. Your educational background is also very impressive. I'm glad you kept going in your education. What discovery led to your nomination of the Nobel Prize?
The discovery of the BRCA1 led to my nomination of the Nobel Prize in 2020. I was the first to show that this mutation was genetically inherited in some families. Discovering this mutation in families meant that we could do early intervention. However, I did not clone the gene successfully. I give credit to Mark Skolnick, who raised me to see who could do it first. Discovering the BRCA1 gene led to many great things, but it meant I could prevent families from losing a loved one.
That is an amazing breakthrough for breast cancer. This gene could help so many with early detection. How did you feel after not being awarded the Nobel Prize?
Although a Nobel Prize for my discoveries would have been nice, I am not upset that I did not receive that award. I have worked tirelessly over the years researching science so that society could benefit from it, not so that I could receive awards for it. Knowing that my research has had significant benefits on both an individual and societal level is more than enough for me.
It is sad that you did not win, but your effort and strive had definitely been noticed by many. Were you nominated for other awards for your discovery?
Although I was not awarded a Nobel Prize, I have won nearly every major prize in biology. These include the Lasker Koshland Special Achievement Award in Medical Science, the Advocacy Award, the William Allen Award, the National Medal of Science, the William L. McGuire Memorial Lecture Award, the Gruber Prize in Genetics, Paul Ehrlich and Ludwig Darmstädter Prize, Weitzman Women and Science Award, the Perlmeister Greengard Prize, the Glamour Woman of the Year Award, and the Dan David Prize. I was also recognized as one of the 50 most important women in science in 2002. I have gained much recognition from others for my dedication to science, despite not obtaining a Nobel Prize.
Those are superb awards to be received. Even with no Nobel Prize, you still made a mark on the world. As a woman in science, have there been any obstacles or issues, such as gender bias, that have interfered with your work?
Many issues I have faced in the workplace stem from the rigorous tasks I had dedicated myself to, not so much the people. I believe this is because I always speak my mind, go after what I want, and will never cede my ground for anybody. I have shown people that I am not a weak link simply because I am a woman, and have developed many great professional, not competitive, relationships with my male colleagues. At one point I even considered quitting science because I could never get any of my projects to work, and I was very depressed and distracted. I was lucky enough to have many great supporters such as my mentor, Dr. Wilson, on my side, encouraging me to do my best. I have even been described as insightful, irreverent, energetic, a wonderful antidote to the notion people have of scientists as lifeless, bloodless drones by a male co-worker of mine, Dr. Eric Lander.
Gender bias can be a hard barrier to overcome in the workplace. It can be hard to push through when nothing seems to go right. I respect that you stayed and continued to work harder even when male colleague made you feel inferior. You are an insightful woman and energetic for sure. You push the boundaries of science until you find what you need. What is your advice to young girls and women out there wanting a career in science, technology, engineering, or mathematics?
One of the most significant pieces of advice I can offer to young girls and women is to never give up. I have always said I think there are 2 keys to being creatively productive. One is not being daunted by one's fear of failure. The second is sheer perseverance. Never be afraid of failing, and persistence is key.
I love that you included that failure is part of the process. Failure often leads to success. Young women and children are inspired by your persistence. Failure can let many down, but it is what pushes us to best of our abilities. My last question is, what would you do if you weren't a scientist?
I would open a daycare for the children of my lab where the kids would learn story problems while their parents do experiments. As you can see, my dad staying home has had a lot of influence on me. Also, it would introduce children into science at a younger age and get them involved. Especially young girls, because we need more women in science. Parents inspire children, and what better way to do it than up front and close in a lab?
Opening up a daycare for children to watch their parents do experiments would be unbelievable. Maybe one day it will happen. I would want to be in that lab experiencing science firsthand. Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate you sitting down and walking us through your life journey. You have made amazing, life-changing discoveries in science. I know you aren't done yet, so I cannot wait to see what comes next. Your discovery of the BRCA1 gene has changed the future of science and how to detect early signs of breast cancer. Again, thank you for coming.
Thank you. I enjoyed this interview and telling my journey. It would not be possible without the people who have supported me through my career in genetics. I encourage young children and women to get involved in science and be daring. Never be afraid of the unknown. Be curious and take chances. Thank you once again.